program as well. So I'll go to the next slide. And COVID-19 free Cambria, is it possible? So far, prevention is very good and we're doing okay. It's a viral illness that spreads from person to person, and each one of us take responsibility, then the disease will be, prevented. Observe the preventive cautions and don't go out in the public if sick, and wear a mask if have symptoms, and wash hands frequently. And next slide, these are the updated numbers. Million more worldwide, and USA has seen constant increase. Uh, Deaths are almost reaching 300,000. Wisconsin is more, 418,000 now, and 3,800 deaths, about 400 more deaths. And since last week, Columbia County had 3,674 now, and 13 deaths. Last week, there were 12 deaths. So there is one more, but so that's what is happening around us. This is US numbers from compared to March 18th to December 2nd and December 9th. So you can see the increase in the cases, and so proportionately increase in the death rate. Even today, there's like 100,000 new cases every day, and so it is a risk and has to be stopped, And this is weather and COVID-19, what relationship it has, the virus with the spread, with the humidity in the air. And seasonal changes in respiratory infection describes how cold or dry winter weather makes us more susceptible to viruses in general. I mean, we have always given flu vaccine and to prevent influenza A and B in the beginning of winter or late in the fall. Similarly, the theory is the same, that virus peaks before winter because of the humidity. And during winter, indoor humidity levels are 10 to 40% compared to 40 to 60% in fall and spring weather. So lower humidity aids the spread of virus aerosol, and it could make the virus more stable and carries further away from the infected person. There were 8 cities were compared with 42 other cities worldwide with a low COVID-19 spread. And this was a study that why these particular cities have higher incidence than the others, and but these higher incidence 8 cities lay in the narrow band between 30 degrees north and 50 degrees north latitude. So next slide shows that the countries at 40 degrees north latitude are most affected, right in the center. And you can see the USA, and then the Spain, Portugal, and then comes Italy and Turkey. And then as you go further east, you see some European countries, and then China, and ultimately you reach Japan. So all the virus spread, the maximum concentration is on that equator, 40 degrees north latitude. And it might be related to the humidity control, humidity in the area, as well as temperature, and also with the population, because most likely those areas are very highly populated than along the periphery. And uh, this is a little update. CDC response to personal freedom advocates that just wear the mask. Georgia becomes sixth state to reach 500,000 cases. And in Phoenix, Arizona, a few months ago, they had a gathering of several hundred or 1,000 so players because they were advertising that we have the safest environment, the space, and wherever you are forbidden in your states, you should all come here and play. And of course, they went there, no mask, no social distance. Results were increased number of cases. And now this week, what happened that the same city council and the mayor and the other government official put restrictions. Everything is closed. The schools, the outdoor gatherings, the churches, the supermarkets, and uh, everything is all shut down because of the spread. So, and the Quest Lab, it's a very, I think they have 2,200 or 2,500 labs around the country. Uh, they are capable of doing a home test for COVID-19 and influenza A and B together. Uh, it has to be ordered by the doctor, and they can send the kit, and you take a swab from the nasal, pharyngeal, or nose, or just the saliva, and they can do the test and turn around within 5 days. You'll know whether you are positive or negative. I think this test costs about $119. I'm not sure whether it's 119 or a little bit up or down, fraction up or down, doesn't matter. This is the CDC public health strategy to address high level of community transmission of SARS-CoV-2 and related deaths. Two important things, again, to stress is postponing travel and universal use of masks. Other than that, physical distancing and limiting contacts, avoiding non-essential indoor spaces and crowded outdoor settings. Increased testing, diagnosis, and isolation, and prompt case investigation and contact tracing to identify, quarantine, and test close contacts. Safeguarding person most at risk for severe illness or death, people age 65 and over, and who have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, or asthma, and protecting essential workers who are necessary to provide the care, increased room air ventilation, enhanced hand hygiene, cleaning and disinfection the surfaces, widespread availability and use of effective vaccine. So this is the CDC latest recommendation now. And also they issued a travel guidance that international travel 1 to 3 days before departure and retest 3 to 5 days after arrival. So those are 3 days before and 3 days after international travel. Domestic travel should also consider testing about the same intervals, and domestic and international travel should isolate for 7 days if test is negative, or 10 days if there is no test done. So they should wear a mask and do not go into the public places and keep the distance of 6 feet. Travelers should avoid close contact with person at higher risk for severe COVID-19 for 14 days after travel. Wear mask in household spaces shared with those who did not travel. So these are CDC travel guidance issued. Reckless and endangering. Uh, these two individuals tested in Seattle as part of Safe Travels Hawaii program. Both test positive for corona virus infection. They were told not to board the plane in San Francisco and to isolate for 14 days. They boarded the plane anyway, and they went to Hawaii and arrested for reckless endangerment. Uh, because in the aeroplane, in spite of middle seat being not occupied during boarding and disembarking and during the flight of, I think it's 4 to 6 hours, something like that, exposure to other people. So there are people who do not care, or they just had to be there for some reason, but they were arrested. This is CDC recommended 3 Ws. They came up with that, and I came up with the Stop the Spread logo. I think that's also appropriate. And wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Fight for COVID. Wearing a mask is doing the right thing. It can save your life and the life of someone dear to you. More on the vaccine. WHO COVID-19 Vaccine Global Access Facility, COVAX, was set up to ensure that the developing countries would be able to get a fair share of the vaccine by distributing it on the basis of global population. And disappointingly, the US did not join this group. And they are still going ahead, and they have the funding, and they will be providing vaccine to the most populated area with the higher infections, because that's a source of spreading to other countries because travel is so easy. An experimental coronavirus vaccine developed by China National Pharmaceutical Group, Sinopharm, has 86% efficacy. And United Arab Emirates have invested in that, and it should be coming there pretty soon after phase 3 or human trials. This is our coronavirus vaccine developed by Pfizer and BioNTech, appears to protect 94% of adults over 65 years of age. And the trial involved 41,000 people worldwide, and half were given the vaccine, half a placebo. Vaccine offered 90% and somewhere between 90 to 95% protection against COVID-19. There was no safety concerns till the last yesterday. They have 2 patients in England who received the vaccine and developed allergic reaction requiring some treatment. And I'll talk about it a little bit more. US company Moderna suggesting nearly 95% protection. And tomorrow, FDA is going to make a decision on approval of this vaccine, and they're ready to distribute. And trials of another developed in Russia called Sputnik, and that should be coming. And people with allergies, previous history of anaphylaxis, that's a sudden reaction of respiratory or cardiac symptoms like shortness of breath, palpitation, passing out, fainting, are those who have been advised to carry adrenaline auto-injector, like people in asthma, and the bee sting people who get a real reaction from the venom, and they carry adrenaline injector. They should not receive Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. So those will be the precautions, and unless given by supervision by a doctor in the places where allergic reaction could be controlled right away. It could be dangerous. Vaccination record cards. CDC has a prototype which have a name and date of birth with the first dose date of injection and second dose. So they'll want to collect some sites, cell phone numbers to text when second dose is due. And all those is reported to CDC database. And data use agreement asked for name, date of birth, address, and ethnicity. I don't know why they're asking for that much information. Some people will be reluctant to give that, but there is this data system available and in the works. Antibodies, uninfected people in the community have pre-existing antibodies against SARS-CoV-2. And these antibodies against seasonal human coronavirus can cross-react with S2 from SARS-CoV-2. COVID-2 has two kinds of antibody, S1 and S2. And S2 is the one which caused this reaction. And human coronavirus antibodies exist in some people, which will prevent them to have a severe coronavirus or COVID-19 infection. And they may not develop the complications or have a milder disease, if not no disease at all. And identification of conserved epitopes in S2 targeted by neutralizing antibodies may hold promise for universal coronavirus vaccine. So these are the proteins on the RNA which will be identified, and if it is true that these common cold viruses, which every year they come and go, will change the proteins on the RNA to make it possible to have a universal coronavirus vaccine. So it's in the works. This is a peptide nasal spray, and by Sotera company. Peptide is a peptide protein that blocks binding of spike of ACE2 receptor. So ACE2 is a receptor in the cells which have a little protein projecting up, a spiking, and so it blocks that spiking and binding on that spike of the virus. So it just coats it. So they think it will be nasal spray. It has worked in mice and primates, human lung cells protected from infection. They have applied to FDA to begin human trials. So this is not the silver one. This is a different one. So peptide. It might come, it will be over the counter if it comes. So it will be preventive and good thing to have. Preparing for Christmas, increased risk of being exposed, and decrease unnecessary activities for about a week. Get tested in 3 or 5 days after travel if you're traveling for Christmas, and limit exposure to a person with COVID for less than 15 minutes in close contact. And if you have to visit somebody or you don't know their status and they're new coming to the house, like Santa comes in, wear your mask. So, and you will be safe, Santa will be safe.
Well, Elf on the Shelf wears a mask, so Santa has.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And here, only a few dozen people attended the lighting of the Christmas tree in the biblical city of Bethlehem on Saturday night. As coronavirus restrictions scale back the annual event that is normally attended by thousands. Beautiful place there in Bethlehem. If you ever had a chance to go there, all three religions are there. Moses, Jesus, and Prophet Muhammad. And it's a beautiful sight. CDC update, 1 person dies per minute in the US. So, and this is alarming. And vaccines, 24 million doses are available if they are approved by tomorrow. And healthcare workers, 21 million, and long-term care facility, nursing home, 3 million. So they will be the first one to get it. And I guess not all the doctors will be getting it. My daughter isn't first in the line, but they identified in this hospital here about 180 people who are going to get it. And so I think it's in the works, it's coming. Same presenting symptoms. Just to remind you, dry cough, fever, weakness, fatigue, and headache. May or may not have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, congestion, rashes, and loss of taste and smell. I think this is important. Uninsured may get financial help to get insurance. You may pass this on to people if you know they don't have insurance. Get covered 2021.org. And so there's a detailed description how you can apply, and they can get financial help for insurance so that they're not denied any treatment from COVID or complications of COVID. So I'll share these slides with you. I'll send them tomorrow. And these are the 3 locations again. And I think I'm at the end. You have questions, we'll answer those. Hi, John.
Hey, Doc, how did you set? How are you tonight?
Good, good. You come on, tell us.
I'm in a bad spot here. Let me get through this.
Okay, okay, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Cody. Everyone could hear you.
We are working on getting the government extended the National Guard through March of 2021. The Columbia County has submitted an application for the grant to continue testing at Cambria Fire Station. We're going to probably change the time a little bit from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., but we're working on it. So as soon as I know more, I will get that out to the public. So we're going to look to continue at least testing once a month. Hopefully we get approved for that at the fire station. So.
Oh, great. That is quite encouragement and great service to the community there. They don't have to go far and they can come in and get tested if in doubt. Or if they are going somewhere where they're not sure whom they will be seeing or meeting, they should get tested.
Mhm.
If they travel, they should get tested. Cody, do you have any idea if there's vaccine available around, or is it just in a nursing home and the, I don't think they have it yet at the pharmacies.
Not yet. For the what was that for the vaccine?
Yes.
Yeah, not yet. We'll know more tomorrow or Friday. What's going to happen with the rollout? So.
Okay, thank you. By next week presentation, I'll have more on the vaccine, as we will know tomorrow whether FDA given thumbs up or they have questions. Because since,
Doc,
yes.
what do you think? I mean, some people are saying it's too soon to get the vaccine, like it's not enough data. Is it safe to get? Is it not safe to get? I mean, that, even in the healthcare facility where I work, I think it's almost 50-50. 50% of the healthcare workers don't want it because they don't know, and 50% do. What are you seeing and hearing?
Yes. I had a meeting yesterday. There were a lot of doctors talking about COVID, and they asked them, and my vote was yes, I'm going to get it. And my daughter is going to get it, the first shot available. There were a couple of doctors who said they're going to wait. There was a couple whose husband and wife were doctors. Husband going to wait, wife is going to get it because she is OBGYN. So if I look at the scientific data, the two cases of allergy out of many thousand vaccines given in England is a good thing that we know now, that not to give it to the people who are who have allergies and expected to get some sort of reaction from the shot. But the rest of the people, because it's a different vaccine, it works on RNA. It's not a virus itself, which is injected into the body to make antibodies. It is the change in the RNA which does that. And we may not have enough data, long-term changes in RNA, but it does change the environments for the virus to penetrate into the cells. So yes, a mode of action is entirely different than other vaccines. So that's why I think I will get it, and I have full confidence that it will be extremely effective. 95% effective is very good, and it will
I
protect the people. Yes.
Yeah, I will be getting it as well. But I was just kind of curious as what you've been seeing as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
I will. If you are in a position that you don't go out and you're more or less home, or go outside in the open when people are not uh, too many around you, you may get away with that, but then you will have to keep your distance and wear the mask, wash the hands, all those preventive measures you should take. I would see that people want freedom, and they should be out and getting the shot. Uh, Whether it will be mandatory, I don't think so. I don't think this atmosphere, political or governmental controls, people would like to have as a, mandated upon them. And 2 years down the road, it might change, because we will see that how long the illness has been present in the communities. What is the long-term effect? We will know what is the long-term effect of the vaccine. So I think more and more people will accept it as the time goes on. Cody.
Oh, did we lose him?
Perfect. That's what I want to hear. The other thing that I'm questioning, Doc, or curious on to see what happens is, can you still transmit via spreader after you get the vaccine? Like, you may not get the effects, but are you able to transmit it to other people?
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah, the transmission is not more than 14 days, and it is not injected, as I said, live or attenuated or changed virus into the body. So they will not shed any virus out of their body, because it's
Right.
so you will not be infecting people. No.
Right. No, that what I meant was, is, are you, even though you have the antibody, or if, let's say the coronavirus enters your body and you have the vaccine and the vaccine fights it off, knocks it down, are you still able to transmit that virus even after you got the vaccine?
No, you will not be able to transfer, because it will stop that reaction. And
Okay, that's what I was curious on.
yeah, and if you have antibodies, usually antibodies fade in 30, 60, or 90 days at the most. Number two, if you had the infection, and then you will be candidate for the vaccine as well, irrespective of the antibodies in your system. If you're positive, you for the test, the injection will. Okay.
Is Cody still there?
Okay, very good, and it was excellent and good. Yes,
I have a couple questions. I don't want to monopolize the question time, but I have a couple questions.
sure. That's okay.
You know, I heard on the news about scams, like you might get an email or a direct message about you want to get the vaccine, you can take it at home. And I'll be darned if I didn't get an email from a scammer about buying the vaccine and being able to get the shot at home. Have you heard there's lots of scams going on?
Yes, there are many, and this is one of them. So you don't want to reply to
Oh gosh, no, I got rid of it
There
out
is
of my body.
no vaccine given at home. The reason is it has to be kept at -70. So it will be transported and freezing, and they have to take it out of the freezer, and it will be good only for 12 to 24 hours, 24 hours the most. So you don't want to take a risk. Rest is all, not kosher.
I just remember at the beginning of this when the whole bleach thing came up, and there was actually people that believed that and hurt themselves. Now, I knew better. I had seen it on TV, and I would never, being previously in the medical profession, would know that you don't get an email about getting medication. But there's people out there that's going to believe that.
Yeah. What's the other question?
Which is scary. The other question I had was about the UK thing. Well, they said that Pfizer excluded people who had serious allergic reaction to shots. And
when they did the testing, they have criteria to enroll people. So they didn't enroll anybody, I think, under 12. They did not enroll anyone who is pregnant, and they had limitation, ethnicity, and diversion of population. And so that allergies in particular, perhaps they didn't include them because they were not sure what kind of reaction they will have. But definitely now, after giving many thousands of vaccines, they have these two cases, and the FDA is going to put a restriction or a warning on the vaccine label.
So I carry an EpiPen because I've become highly allergic to latex.
Yes.
And mom carries an EpiPen because of her allergy to bees.
Yes, if I think you should be very cautious. I will not take it. I'll take other measures unless a vaccine comes up, which is not causing reaction in allergies, you know. So there will be more coming.
Okay. Another thing that they said was that people that, they sometimes after they get the flu shot, they'll get like a little swelling in their arm will hurt. They have like a little bit of a reaction. That they said to take Tylenol or a leave after getting the shot, but yet not to take it too soon because it could cause the shot not to take full effect, but it didn't give a time frame. Have you heard that one?
Yes, CDC did not recommend any prophylactic use of Tylenol, acetaminophen prior to the shot. The shot, not the first one, the second dose, 28 days later, will cause
Okay.
pain on the local site and redness. So, and they may recommend later on to use Tylenol after the injection or at the same time they're getting the injection. But that will not interfere in the providing immunity or protection.
Gotcha. Well, you said a couple weeks ago that the UK was going to be ahead of us and that was really going to be like a good test to see what the reaction was. I mean, I feel like you were spot on with this. That, you know what I mean? We're seeing, they're kind of like the
Yes,
scapegoats for looking at what is going on and knowing about these reactions. I mean, I when I saw that, I was like, Doc was spot on with it.
yes,
The other question I had
yes.
that my mom wanted me to ask was about air purifiers.
Air purifiers, yes.
They bought, I guess, an air purifier and they have it in their living room. And and they're selling different types and different kinds that they'll, help with the COVID. If it was in your house, it'll zap the whatever. What do you think about those?
Air purifier, when there's this air circulating, air will pass through it and it has a filter. So filter catches dust particles. It will not catch the virus because it will catch the virus which is stuck to the dust. And that may be the protection. But on the other hand, the dust, the virus is carried by droplets and it doesn't travel by itself. So either it hangs on to a, very tiny particles or larger particles like droplets. So air purifier will clean that. And but usually they take impurities other than the bacteria, because bacteria and viruses are so small. And if they are stuck to the larger particles, that particles will stick in the air purifier. So that's the protection, nothing more than that.
Gotcha.
Circulating air will help.
Circulating.
Window open will help. So get
that was really interesting about the countries that are 40-degree north. That is, wow.
I saw all through that band.
Wow.
All there.
I know the slide was unreal.
Yeah.
I never saw that before.
Yeah. Okay. Great questions. Very good. I'm so glad it was helpful. And next week we will continue, and I will be very happy to bring you an update. And
Well, thank you. I appreciate it anyways.
yes.
Yeah.
You
Thank
all-
you very much.
Thank you. You all stay healthy and keep your distance.
Thanks,
Sounds
Doc.
good.
Where are Matt?
Perfect.
Eat pizza.
Okay.
Yeah, pizza. We gotta send that recipe. That COVID